Gentlemen, let's be real for a moment. Every man wants to know the secret to truly capturing a woman's heart and desire. But here's the truth most people never tell you: it's not about looks, money, or charm. It's about energy, the kind of energy that makes her feel seen, safe, and completely drawn to you without you saying a single word. You see, when a woman feels emotionally understood, when she senses that quiet confidence that doesn't need to control, and when she feels respected for who she is, that's when something powerful happens. That's when she lets her guard down, when her trust grows, when her attraction deepens beyond logic or reason. This isn't a game or manipulation, it's connection. Real, raw, human connection. And once you understand it, you stop chasing women because the right women start gravitating towards you. What makes her stay, what makes her open up, what makes her yours in the most genuine sense isn't found in any pickup line or physical act. It's found in your awareness, your presence, your ability to make her feel something she hasn't felt before, emotionally secure, deeply seen, and passionately alive. So, if you've ever wondered what separates men who struggle to connect from those who naturally draw women in with ease, stay till the end of this video. Because by the time we're done, you'll understand what truly makes her surrender her heart, her trust, and her desire, not through force, but through feeling. This is where attraction becomes deeper than lust, and where you learn how to create a connection that no one else can replace. Emotional connection is the heartbeat of intimacy, the invisible thread that ties two people together beyond physical attraction or surface level chemistry. When a woman feels emotionally seen, she doesn't just feel desired, she feels understood, valued, and safe. And that safety is what allows her to open up fully, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Too often, men underestimate how much of a woman's arousal starts in her mind. Her body follows the signals of trust, warmth, and emotional resonance. When she feels emotionally neglected, distant, or unacknowledged, her desire begins to fade no matter how strong the physical attraction once was. But when a man takes time to listen, to notice the small details, and to respond with genuine empathy, her guard drops and her heart begins to soften. True emotional connection isn't about being perfect or knowing exactly what to say. It's about presence. It's about showing up fully, putting away distractions, and letting her feel that your attention belongs to her in that moment. The power of presence creates safety, a feeling that she doesn't need to perform or hide any part of herself. That's when her femininity blooms naturally. She becomes more expressive, more affectionate, and more emotionally available because she feels grounded in your energy. When you engage her with sincerity, even simple gestures like maintaining eye contact or remembering something she told you weeks ago can make her feel profoundly connected. Emotional connection also builds through vulnerability, not weakness, but the courage to express what you truly feel. When you share parts of yourself honestly, you give her permission to do the same. This creates emotional reciprocity where both partners feel equally invested and seen. For many women, intimacy is not about the act itself, but the meaning behind it. It's the difference between being touched and being felt. When she senses that your desire for her isn't just physical hunger, but emotional appreciation, it changes everything. Her response becomes deeper, her affection more intense, and her trust more complete. In relationships, emotional neglect is often the silent killer of desire. When conversations become shallow and gestures feel routine, emotional intimacy fades, and with it, the spark. But the opposite is also true. When emotional depth grows, the physical connection strengthens naturally. She starts to crave not just your touch, but your presence, your energy, your voice, the feeling of being near you. That kind of connection makes the bond resilient, passionate, and lasting. The science behind this truth is equally powerful. Emotional closeness triggers oxytocin, the bonding hormone that increases affection and emotional attachment. This chemical connection doesn't just make her feel loved, it makes her body respond more deeply to you. So when a woman feels emotionally safe and appreciated, her arousal, confidence, and willingness to connect physically all rise naturally. What many men chase through performance or technique actually starts with emotional attunement. When she feels seen, she feels yours, not through control or possession, but through trust. That's the secret behind the statement. If she feels emotionally connected, you already have her fully, completely, and willingly. Confidence without control is one of the most magnetic forces a man can possess because it embodies balance, strength without aggression, assurance without arrogance, and presence without pressure. When a woman feels this kind of confidence from a man, her guard lowers not out of submission, but out of trust. She can sense the difference between a man who seeks to dominate and one who leads with calm certainty. The first drains her energy, the second ignites her desire. True confidence is never about overpowering someone. It's about creating a space where both people can relax into their natural roles, where attraction flows effortlessly because neither is pretending or performing. Women are deeply intuitive. They can read the energy behind a man's actions faster than his words can explain them. If his confidence comes from ego or fear, it feels heavy, almost forceful. But when it comes from self assurance and emotional intelligence, it feels grounding and safe. That's what draws her in. A man who is comfortable in his own skin doesn't need to prove himself. His calmness says more than any boast could. He doesn't rush to fill silence or seek validation because his value doesn't depend on her response. That emotional steadiness allows her to breathe, to feel free, to lean into his presence instead of resisting it. Confidence without control also communicates respect. It says, I'm here with you, not over you. That kind of energy transforms intimacy into a shared experience instead of a performance. When a woman senses that a man is connected to his own body and emotions, she feels permission to connect to hers more fully. It's not about who leads or follows. It's about rhythm, about flow, about knowing when to take initiative and when to simply be. The balance between assertion and sensitivity is what keeps the chemistry alive. She wants to feel your strength, but she also wants to feel your awareness. In relationships, this dynamic creates emotional security. When a man tries to control or impress constantly, he unknowingly builds tension and anxiety in his partner. But when his confidence is rooted in authenticity, he communicates stability. That stability becomes her safety. It allows her to express her desires, her needs, and her emotions without fear of judgment or rejection. The paradox of attraction is that the more space you give her to feel free, the closer she wants to come. This is what confidence without control achieves. It doesn't chase, it invites. From a psychological perspective, confidence signals healthy dopamine and serotonin regulation, hormones associated with self esteem, clarity, and calm. These internal states are mirrored outwardly as grounded energy, the kind that feels magnetic rather than manic. When combined with emotional awareness, that energy becomes irresistible because it taps into a primal truth. Safety and desire are not opposites, they're allies. Women are most drawn to men who can embody both. So when a woman feels that a man's confidence isn't rooted in dominance, but in genuine inner strength, she relaxes, she trusts, she desires. She doesn't just respond to his words or looks, she responds to his energy. And in that energy, she finds both security and excitement, the perfect balance that turns simple attraction into deep connection. Communication builds anticipation because it is the emotional foreplay that prepares the mind and heart long before anything physical ever happens. For most women, intimacy begins with words, the tone, the timing, and the intent behind them. When communication flows with honesty and curiosity, it creates a rhythm between two people that builds tension, trust, and desire all at once. It's not about saying the perfect thing, it's about saying the real thing. Authentic communication, the kind that listens as much as it speaks, allows her to feel seen, heard, and valued, which awakens the deeper layers of attraction. It signals emotional maturity, something far more powerful than charm or surface level compliments. When a man communicates with purpose and attention, every interaction becomes a subtle exchange of energy, a compliment that feels genuine, an observation that shows he's been paying attention, or even a quiet pause where she feels your presence. These moments speak louder than rehearsed lines. They tell her that you're tuned in, that you're not just reacting, but connecting. That's when she starts to lean in mentally and emotionally, because anticipation is not built by rushing toward what you want. It's built by creating space that allows desire to grow naturally. Good communication also creates emotional safety, and emotional safety amplifies attraction. When a woman can express herself without fear of being dismissed or misunderstood, she begins to trust that connection more deeply. That trust allows her to open up, to share her thoughts, her humor, her vulnerability. Every conversation becomes a bridge, each exchange bringing her closer to you. It's through these small, meaningful interactions that anticipation grows. She starts to look forward to hearing from you, to sharing things with you, to being around you. It's not the words themselves that matter most, it's the feeling your communication leaves behind. In intimacy, the same principle applies. The way you speak, the way you respond, the way you listen all shape how she feels in your presence. Women are emotional processors. They respond not only to what you say, but how you say it. A calm tone can reassure her, a teasing tone can excite her, a sincere tone can melt her. When your communication carries warmth and intention, it activates her imagination and emotions, the two most powerful ingredients for attraction. Anticipation thrives when you let her feel that connection building slowly, with subtlety and presence, rather than force. From a psychological perspective, communication activates both emotional and reward centers in the brain. The more meaningful the conversation, the more dopamine is released, the same chemical associated with pleasure and desire. That's why emotional intimacy enhances physical intimacy. It's a feedback loop. The more connected she feels through communication, the stronger her physical attraction becomes. So when you speak, don't just aim to impress, aim to connect. Let your words carry intention and awareness. Listen more than you talk, notice more than you assume, and respond with genuine curiosity. When she feels that your communication is real and consistent, anticipation becomes natural. She doesn't just hear your words, she feels them. And when a woman feels deeply understood, her mind and body align in trust, desire, and openness, the kind of anticipation that no physical act alone can ever create. Respect is the quiet force that turns attraction into connection and chemistry into something lasting. It is the foundation of every healthy, intimate relationship, yet it's often misunderstood as politeness or restraint. True respect goes deeper than that. It is an energy, an awareness that says, I see you as a person, not just as an object of desire. When a woman senses that respect from a man, her entire response to him changes. She begins to trust his presence, to open her emotions, to let go of hesitation. Respect gives her permission to relax into herself, and in that comfort, her natural sensuality emerges. Respect in intimacy means recognizing her boundaries, not as limitations, but as expressions of trust. When a man listens to her signals, whether they're verbal or unspoken, he proves that he values her comfort as much as his own desire. That level of consideration builds emotional safety, and emotional safety is what allows true passion to thrive. A woman who feels respected will never need to guard herself. Instead, she will respond with authenticity, warmth, and depth. Her energy flows more freely because she knows she's in the presence of someone who honors her humanity. Many men believe attraction comes from intensity or control, but the truth is, the most magnetic men are those who can be strong and still respectful. That duality, power balanced with empathy, creates the kind of chemistry that feels both thrilling and secure. Respect doesn't make a man passive, it makes him intentional. It guides his actions, his words, his timing. It shows that he's aware of the moment and of her emotional landscape. When a woman feels that level of awareness, She doesn't resist his energy, she leans into it. Respect also builds emotional intimacy long before physical intimacy ever happens. It is expressed in small, consistent actions. How you listen when she speaks, how you respond when she's vulnerable, how you treat her when she's not around. These moments tell her who you really are. When she feels seen beyond her appearance or body, she begins to connect with you at a deeper emotional level. That kind of bond creates anticipation that goes beyond surface attraction. It's the kind of attraction that makes her feel safe enough to explore her emotions, desires, and affection without fear of judgment. From a psychological perspective, respect activates the brain's trust pathways, releasing oxytocin and reducing cortisol, the stress hormone. When a woman feels respected, her nervous system relaxes, her breathing deepens, and her emotional openness increases. This biological response is why respect is such a powerful aphrodisiac. It doesn't just make her like you, it makes her body feel enough to desire you fully. In relationships, respect sustains passion because it nurtures mutual admiration. When both partners feel valued and acknowledged, desire becomes continuous rather than fleeting. It's not about controlling the other person, but about honoring the connection itself. A man who respects a woman doesn't need to demand her affection, he inspires it. Respect turns attraction into trust, trust into intimacy, and intimacy into something unforgettable. It's the essence of mature desire, grounded, deep, and real. What truly captures a woman's heart and deepens her desire isn't a trick, a line, or a move. It's understanding the layers of connection that make her feel safe, desired, and emotionally alive. Emotional connection awakens her trust. Confidence without control makes her feel protected. Communication builds anticipation and closeness. Respect nurtures her openness and your energy. The way you carry yourself sets the tone for how she responds to you. When you bring all of these together, you stop chasing affection and start inspiring it naturally. She doesn't give herself to you out of curiosity or impulse. She gives herself because she feels seen, respected, and understood on a level most men never reach. Real intimacy is not about performance, it's about presence. It's not about how much you do, but how deeply you connect. When a woman senses that your intentions come from authenticity, when your confidence is calm and your respect unwavering, she feels safe enough to let her femininity flow without fear. That is when connection transforms into chemistry, when attraction evolves into trust, and when moments become memories that last far beyond the physical. So, to every man watching this, remember, the power to truly have her isn't in control, it's in awareness. It's in how you make her feel, not what you try to make her do. The more you understand her heart, the more you'll move her body and soul in ways that words can't describe. Connection is an art, and the more you master emotional intelligence, patience, and respect, the more natural intimacy becomes. Thank you for taking the time to learn what most overlook the emotional science behind real connection. Your willingness to understand, not just desire, is what sets you apart. Keep growing, keep learning, and never forget the way you show up as a man determines the depth of love you'll experience. Good luck on your journey, and thank you for watching.